the question everybody wants to know. Where do you stand right now in terms of running for the U.S. Senate?
Well, as I've said, that when it was first announced, and that's a little over 2 weeks ago, I would have said it was 50-50, and I want to do an analytical study on this to come to a logical and a rational conclusion, and my head and my heart and my gut have to come together. That needle has gone over 50%, and each day that goes by, on balance, it's more likely rather than less likely. But when Karl Rove decided that he was going to make me his national poster child for their elitist attitude of deciding who would be the nominee and who would not be the nominee, now I've got a different battle I need to fight before the way can be cleared to do the analysis. And that it's got to become clear, not just to Iowans, but to everybody in this country, that when it comes to nominating candidates for the general election ballot, that's a decision made here in this state by Iowans and nobody else. And if you go to other states, they need that kind of protection too. If I would back up in front of Karl Rove's initiative, that would just empower him, and he would go on state after state, candidate after candidate, and I don't think any individual has the wisdom to make those kind of decisions. But I think Iowans together can make those decisions and should. That's the principle. We have to fight this out in the court of public opinion. I don't know how long that's going to take, but we have to clear the air with that before we can go on with the decision-making process.
Do you have any kind of timeline on when you might make a decision on whether or not you'll run?
It's almost equivalent to declaring when a war will be over. And if you make the announcement, then the people who are strategizing will go ahead and move towards that strategically. So no, there's not a timeline on it, but I don't think it's something that should be done urgently, hastily, or by emotionally. It needs to be done analytically, and then I need to also hear from Iowans. I want to hear what Iowans have to say. If I had made a decision the first day, that would have not allowed for Iowans to weigh in on this. Those that think I should and those that think I shouldn't, let me know, and let me know why. I want to weigh all of that, and you'll be thinking about some things perhaps I'm not. In the end, we take all of that, see if my head, heart, and gut come together, but part of that also is family and it's faith. If the messages are all right, I'll do this, and if the messages aren't right, I'll tell you.
I'm sure that you've read or heard that some people, myself included, believe that you would have a tough time winning a statewide general election. What's your response to that?
If you can't win the primary, you don't need to speculate on the general election. And so of all the polling that I've seen, I would have a significant lead in a primary contest for U.S. Senate. That's the first cut. Analyze that and then take a look at the general election side. But anybody that speculates about whether, and by the way, again, I don't make this decision. These are Iowans that will be going to the polls.
Right.
And so I want to make sure everybody knows I'm thinking about that. But historically, it's this. When I first took out papers to run for the Iowa Senate, and that was 17 years ago, just last Saturday on the 9th of February, the powers that be then emerged to tell me that it was impossible and that I had just taken on this impossible mission. Well, there is no reconsideration once you make a commitment, and so I will admit I listened to them and I doubled and tripled my efforts, but out of that I won that primary against a 24-year incumbent with 2/3 of the vote and carried 75% of his home county. And then went on and was elected to the Iowa Senate, served 6 years there, and you'll remember the primary in 2002 for Congress. It was 4 candidates, all good candidates, the most hotly contested congressional primary in America that year, according to the pundits. And out of that, we had the powers that be that said a month out, Steve King should step down because he can't win, and he's just throwing it off for the other candidates who can win. Well, it didn't turn out that way. I didn't step down. I won the primary and the special nominating convention and the general election and 5 succeeding general elections that took place, including the one with Christy Vilsack and all of, let's just say, all of the king's horses and all the king's men. No member of Congress has ever been challenged by the spouse of a seated member of the president's cabinet. Certainly not in the state where President Obama started his movement with unlimited funds, starting with George Soros's early on, and Credo and tracking cameras to the triplicate from St. Patrick's Day all the way through till November 6th. Those cameras are around me in my public schedule, 1 to 3 cameras at all public times, all set up so that they could trap me in some moment, some phrase, some facial expression that they could use against me. And those who think I'm vulnerable, maybe so, go, but they didn't get a single second of video time or audio time that they used against me. It wasn't there. So whoever has that anxiety, take a look at the policies. What have I voted for? What have I stood for? I was one of the top 2 opponents to Obamacare in this nation. I organized events in D.C. by the tens of thousands of people that showed up, and across the country I went in and weighed in. It's an abysmal policy. The premiums for that kick in January of 2014. I think that puts Steve King in a pretty good spot to make the argument that Obamacare is not institutionalized in perpetuity. Second thing is, debt and deficit are crushing this country. And I don't know anybody that's been more vocal about moving a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution. Those are the 2 top things I ran on in this last election. They will be the 2 most important things in the 2014 election. That puts me, I think, in the best spot to win a general election. We're going to look at the numbers too, but that's the policy that I think provides momentum.